Are you cool with them taking the phones away from your babies? What about if somebody's not listening to you about what you feed your baby? And what is the common courtesy when exes break up? We're going to get into it. Let's get it. Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm your host, Bruce Anthony, here to lead the conversation in important events and topics that are shaping today's society. Join the conversation and follow us wherever you get your audio podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for our video podcast and YouTube exclusive content. Rate, review, like, comment, share. Share with your friends, share with your family, hell, even share with your enemies. On today's episode, it's the Sibling Happy Hour. I'm here with my sis, Aundrea. We're going to be dilly-dallying a little bit. Then we're going to be talking about them taking cell phones away from kids during school. And then we're going to be talking about, am I overreacting? A few scenarios. You know, that's my favorite thing. But that's enough of the intro. Let's get to the show. What up, sis?
What up, brother?
I can't call it. Something interesting happened yesterday. Michael Rosenbaum, I think that's his name. He played Lex Luthor on the TV series Smallville. He's got a podcast. Do not know the name of it. Probably should have looked that up before I started talking about this, but we'll deal with it when we deal with it. He had Grant Gustafson. I believe that's how you enunciate his last name.
It's called Inside of You Podcast.
Okay, Inside of You Podcast. Grant Gustafson, I think that's how you pronounce his name. The guy that played Flash on the TV series was on the show yesterday.
Yeah.
On the show that I watched yesterday. And he was talking about just dealing with pressure and just as he's gotten older, dealing with his mental health. And becoming more emotionally intelligent, being able to gauge the emotions that are going on inside of him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of piggybacking. I forgot to bring it up, but one of my boys last week said something. And these are two Neanderthals. I'm just joking. They're my boys. I know. I love them.
Yeah.
But they are very old school men. And one of them was talking about childhood trauma, just yelled out childhood trauma. And I looked at him and I was like, you know what that is? and I'm loving the fact that, and I know we've talked about this before, but I'm loving the fact that men are absolutely addressing their mental health needs.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so important for us to just grow and expand and be better people.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. Expanding, being better people. Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. But I think it's great. I think that the more men go on that journey and heal, the more they'll realize how detrimental to their well-being and their mental health, like things like patriarchy are, and these perceptions of how men should be and how what is and what isn't masculine, and like kind of recognize that the definitions of those things change constantly, and almost it feels like for no reason. It's just like whoever's in power defines what these societal conventions mean. And you can't let something that flexible define who you are as a person.
Yeah. Speaking of kind of detouring, because we talk about this so much, but I feel like it's important and that we should, but kind of detouring. You probably haven't seen it yet because I sent it to you this morning, and I know you get my memes and reels when you get them. It's, in other words, when you open them, when you get them. But I was on another friend's page, and I was at their wedding. They actually had their wedding the day before the world shut down. And they have a son now. It's my old roommate. You know exactly who he is. And his wife. And on his wife's page, there was this little reel. And the reel was a woman doing her makeup, right? And the question says, what would you do if your son asked, can he do his makeup next? And the woman in the video immediately goes, right? Like that's a common, like, no, that's not what boys do. up next was a woman responding to that, and she's a teacher, and she was like, "Okay, I'm not about to attack you, but let me just give you a couple of different perspectives on that." And she runs down a couple of different things. Like one, immediately when you say no, you equate it to bad, and so then it minimizes what women do, like
Yeah.
putting on makeup and getting ready. It minimizes that.
Yeah.
Children learn that, like, it's
Yeah.
not very important, right? Because when you say no, you can't do that. You're teaching them that it's wrong for them to do, so they equate it as it's wrong, right?
Mhm.
And it also was like you just shut down that little boy ever coming to you feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
Just like by saying yes, you reaffirm his independence and his confidence.
Mhm.
And there's nothing like a man with confidence.
Yeah.
And then you're letting him know that this instance will let that child know in the future, if there's ever something that you want to talk about, that you're always open to him and won't shut him down. So it
Yeah.
creates an open dialogue. And I never thought about these things because I think my initial reaction, even though I'm trying to evolve, I think
Mhm.
my initial reaction, if I had a son, would be like, no, little boys don't put on makeup. And
Mhm.
I need to move past it. And a lot of times, you know, it's just experimental. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean
Yeah.
that your son is going to be a part of the LGBTQ plus community.
Right.
But even if your son is or isn't, your son will learn that this is okay, which makes them more open to be accepting of other people. And I
Mhm.
was just like, yo, this is really deep. And it's something that would have gone over my head. But parenting is hard. And it's the little
Parenting's hard.
things,
Yeah.
it's the little things that you guys do as parents that can affect a child for the rest of their life. And
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of mine, and she's like, I'm so scared of messing up my children. I try to do right. And I was like, you can't really live like that. The fact that you're open-minded,
Yeah.
that you can only do the best you can. That's
Yeah.
it, you
You
know?
can you can just say, "Hey, sometimes I'm wrong. I'm your parent, but I'm not always right. And it's okay to correct me if I hurt your feelings or I make you feel some type of way. It's okay to tell me that." I mean, because listen, I know that the fear is that their child, I don't mean for this to rhyme, will be queer, but like, what if they just become a world-renowned makeup artist or painter,
Facts.
or like, you know what I'm saying? What if it is
Hairstylists, like anything.
hairstylist? What if he just admires female beauty? Like
What if
what like it could also be that. Like you're shutting down a potentially really creative side to your child for fear of what they gonna do when they grown and don't, it ain't none of your business anyway. Like, you know what I'm
and
saying? Like,
and that's also it just popped in my head. It's also a different aspect of maybe the child likes the makeup for the colors.
yeah,
Maybe they become an artist.
yes,
Maybe they become a painter. And when you shut down stuff, let kids be free spirited.
yes.
And let them figure out what they I'll never forget one of my boys. He played football in high
Mhm,
school and in college.
mhm.
And my other boy was like, "So you gonna get him into football?" He was like, "Man, you can't. Kids are gonna choose what they want to choose,
Yeah,
right? And I'm gonna
yeah,
support whatever they choose. Just because I play football doesn't mean that they got to play football. Do whatever they like." And one of his sons is a hell of a soccer player,
yeah.
like hell of a soccer player.
Still plays football, just different kind.
He plays, football.
He plays football. Yes.
Right. So,
Yeah.
no, I mean, parenting is hard.
Yeah.
Parenting
Super
is
hard.
hard.
Yeah. You just gotta first of all, none of us will ever get it 100% right. That's just not possible because we're humans and we're imperfect and we're fallible. Just be open to being like, hey, sometimes mommy, sometimes daddy, makes mistakes and that's okay. And, you know, if I hurt your feelings by saying no, please tell me, and please tell me why, so that I can, correct my behavior in the future. Like, instead, like, the question should have been, if her son ever came to her and said, can I do my makeup next? The question should have been, well, sure, can you tell me why you'd like to? What do you like about it?
Mm-hmm.
That you want to try it on yourself. I don't know. I just see you doing it. Or I don't know. I like the colors. Or, I don't know. I like to draw, things like that. Like, it would have been a good idea to figure out why.
Right.
Because the answer might not necessarily have been, well, I feel like a girl inside. That might not
Right.
that's the answer that you're fearing for whatever reason, but that's not that. It could have been any number of kids. They don't think about things as deeply. They don't have that knowledge base to think about things, overthink things the way that adults do.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are very, very simple.
And the woman said that made the response, she said, was one of the final points. She said it's 3 points and then said, oh, extra credit. Here's the 4th point. It could just be your child just connecting with you, just wanting to be around you.
Yes.
And that's a lot of things. Kids do a lot of things just because they want to be around their parents. I used to, even when me and my father weren't on good terms as a teenager, right?
Which is normal.
Which is normal.
Because teenage years.
He would be watching the game. And of course, I like watching the game too. But I would go watch the game around him. Why?
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to be around him.
Yeah.
He was going to do something funny. I'll never forget the time when the Bulls lost in the playoffs and he got mad at Luke Longley and swung at the TV. And I was heartbroken because the Bulls lost. But the fact that he got up, he cursed Luke Longley's name, jumped up off the couch and swung at the TV. I hate Luke Longley. I was like, you know what? I'm okay now because that was hilarious.
Yeah. Feel bad the Bulls lost, but that was nice. Thank you.
Quick detour, another detour.
Yeah.
I have realized in my older age that getting ready to do something, like getting ready to like go out, like taking a shower and, moisturizing and shaving and all that stuff, it takes me an hour and a half. And the reason why it takes me an hour and a half, because of them damn shower sweats.
Yeah.
Them shower sweats. I'm like, what's the point of me putting on any type of anti-aging serum or moisturizer or aftershave when it slides just right off? It takes me a good 30 minutes when I get out of the shower because I got a bald head. So when I'm shaving, it's something about when I put the aftershave or the head balm on my head, my face just starts sweating. And I know it's probably because I closed off the pores to my head. And so the sweat got to come out. The heat in my body has a release somewhere and it just comes out on my face. Would love it if it came out any other place. Maybe my feet. I wouldn't mind my feet sweated, but why my face? So I have to sit in front of that big power fan that you bought me last year for Christmas and just sit there and just dry off.
Yeah.
After the shower.
Yeah. So this is something I actually looked up because I wanted to, because I can't stand the shower sweats. So I have been doing this and I just took a shower right before taping. You notice I'm not sweating.
Yeah, you're not sweating.
Okay. So the reason why you sweat after a shower is 3 reasons. The heat exposure. Hot showers raise your body temperature.
Right.
So your body naturally sweats to cool down. The humidity, the warm, humid bathroom air contributes to sweating. And then overcompensation. When you exit a hot shower and enter a cool environment, your body may overcompensate by sweating to regulate the temperature. So some tips to reduce that. Lower the water temperature. If you're in there in a scalding hot shower.
No, I'm not a female. Females do scalding hot showers. Males don't do scalding hot showers.
Okay, bring it down. Or end with a cool rinse.
Okay.
I do a cool rinse after because I do like my water hot. So I end with a cool rinse.
Okay.
Ventilating the bathroom. Sometimes that exhaust fan is not enough. Sometimes you do have to just shower with the door open.
One of the doors is always open. The other one is not, but maybe I should open up the second door. But just what if somebody break in? I need that time where they jiggling the door for me to at least gather myself. I don't want to have to fight no intruder butt naked.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
But butt naked? Look,
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm very vulnerable butt naked. Okay, let me just say.
You just gotta pretend you got some shorts on and get to scrapping.
No, I'm gonna do
I
like
don't
this.
know.
I'm gonna tell the person that's breaking the internet, hey, look, we gonna fight. Let me just put some drawers on first. Let me put some drawers on first. And actually a white beater because I don't like my chest out. So let me put on some drawers and a wife beater. I feel fat right now. Let me do that, and then we can scrap up. And whoever win. But
Yeah.
don't fight me in this vulnerable state right now. But okay, open up the doors for more ventilation. What's the third thing?
Your drying technique. Pat your skin dry. Don't rub because it causes increased friction and heat. So a lot of people rub themselves dry. Just pat.
Patting don't work for me because I be real slippery. So slippery, I almost slip when I get out the shower.
Why? Are you
just
rinsing the soap off good?
Yeah, no, I'm rinsing the soap. Yes, rinse the soap off good. I know how to bathe myself.
Okay, well then I don't know I don't know.
Well, pat dry just don't seem like it worked. But okay, I'll try it. I'll try it tonight when I take my nighttime shower.
And then you already do this, but stay hydrated. Drinking plenty of water can help regulate your body temperature. But basically, I end with a cool rinse. I make sure my bathroom's ventilated and I pat dry, and then I don't have that issue.
Well, they say taking cool showers are actually better for you.
Yeah.
The problem is I shave my head in the shower. And in order to shave, you need hot water.
Yeah.
So, but I could after I shave, just do the cool shower.
Yeah.
And I tried that cool shower. It kind of hurt.
Explain.
You know, I have parts that are different from female, and then you really don't like that to be cold.
All right. Well, listen, do you want to sweat?
No, I don't want to
sweat. Do you want to get this under control? This is the way to get it under control. Okay. I had to look it up because I was like, I can't deal with this anymore.
Because especially during the summertime, it is a wrap.
It's unbearable. And so you just gotta sit when you get out the shower, you gotta sit in front of a fan, and it's too much. It takes so much time just to cool your body down. No, in with that. The best advice I give, in with that cool rinse. If anybody else gets shower sweats, in with the cool rinse.
I tell you, our family,
bring your body temperature down.
Our family, whew, it is genetic because every single last one of us get them shower sweats.
But I also think we take hot showers.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but my bathroom isn't really large. It's good for me because I need a large bathroom because I'm a large man. But I tend to get water everywhere in my shower just because I'm tall.
Yeah.
And it's actually not easy maneuvering in my shower. You know what I want? I want one of them big walk-in showers where it's like 10 feet tall and I got sprays everywhere. I want them on top of me, on both sides of me, and just like a car wash. You know how you go? And that's what I want.
And I want to blast the funk off.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I want to walk in and funk talking about, hey man, what is this? You know you love me. And then the water just come on and the funk be like, no.
And that bad boy is blasted right off. That's what I want. That's what I want.
I wonder why that is culturally. We as Black people, and I'm not saying anybody else isn't like that. I'm only speaking for Black people because I'm Black. No, I'm not saying that other people aren't like, don't want to not be funky, but I'm just saying I'm Black.
They don't seem like it. Listen, I'm not saying y'all want to be funky, but your regimens for cleaning yourself ain't the most thorough. So if you don't want to be funky, you're not acting like it.
Well, I don't know what it is about us, and we want to smell good. Somebody walked past me the other day, and it wasn't cologne. I'm pretty sure that it was a body butter because I'm really into body butters right now. I just need to find the right scent that lasts. And they walked past me. It wasn't overpowering, but you could smell it. And I wanted to run up to him and be like, "Hey, man, how you do that?" because I feel like I put on body butters and colognes And people only say that I smell good if they're close to me. Like every time I get around my bestie, she gives me a hug. She's like, "Oh, you smell good." I'm like, "Yeah, but I want you to actually smell me, not overpower me, not
Mhm.
overpowering, but smell me when I enter the room and when I walk past you."
I feel like that's too heavy-handed,
No, but you
honestly.
can do it to the point. It's been done before. It's been done. You can do it to the point where you smell good and it's not overpowering, but you got, man, that's a good scent you got right there.
Yeah. I don't
I,
know.
I don't know. Anyway, I
Yeah.
like smelling good because one time in sixth grade, this girl told me I smell like butt, and that was all that it needed to.
That is horrible. Yeah, that's triggering. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what started it for me. She's like,
That's
"He smelled like butt," and I said, "What? I smell like butt." And all what she basically meant was I smelled like sweat,
no, you smell like ass.
sweaty ass.
She didn't say she just no. She said, but she didn't say you smell like. Now, when somebody says you smell like outside,
Right,
that's okay. You smell like sweat,
right.
but but when somebody says you smell like butt, you smell like you didn't wipe good.
But I look, at sixth grade, I was 11 years old. All I know is that changed my life. And I don't
Yeah.
remember that girl's name, but I made sure that I never smelled like butt ever again.
Well, have you gone to like Bath and Body Works? They have a really good men's shop where they have different body creams and
Actually, no,
favorite
because I
things.
just figured that Bath and Body Works is for the kids. Like
No,
I'm a grown man.
no, they have a men's section
Okay,
where
Bath
they
and Body
have,
Works.
yeah. I
That's
mean,
just what I equate to like high school.
well, yeah, the body mist and
Yeah.
everything. That's a very high school thing. But no, they actually have like men's like body care and all of that stuff for
Okay, because I have
colognes and
used
things.
their night cream. They got this lavender type thing, night
Mhm,
cream that I
mhm.
used to go. It was lavender and I don't know what it was, but I love lavender, and vanilla, and
Yeah.
sandalwood. Sandalwood is my favorite.
Sandalwood is my top 10, like, it's my number 1 scent is
Yeah,
sandalwood,
look,
yes.
let me tell you something. Men out there, you want to drive the women wild, or
Get
you
you
want to
some
drive the men
sandalwood.
wild. You want to drive people wild.
You wanna drive folks wild,
Folks wild, get you
get you
some
some
sandalwood,
sandalwood.
especially if you got shaving cream and aftershave, the sandalwood, put some
Mhm.
lotion on, be sandalwooded up,
Yeah,
sandalwood.
yeah.
Lavender too, lavender smell
Let me tell
good.
you also, if you looking for incense for your home, sandalwood, oh, just have your whole house smelling like sandalwood.
Had the whole house smelling like sandalwood.
Mhm.
All right, Jay, that's enough of this dilly-daddling.
Yeah,
Let's get into cell phones because you don't be checking your cell phone too much anymore nowadays
not
because
these
you be in
days.
school.
Not these days.
But now they are talking about taking the cell phones away from the kids in school, and I thought this was interesting. We're gonna get into that next. All right, Jay, there's been a movement to ban cell phones in schools, and it's gained a lot of traction globally and across the United States with bipartisan support from policymakers in both conservative and liberal states. Concerns about excessive screen time, its impact on mental health, and the distraction phones pose during academic instruction are driving these efforts. Governors from states like Florida, Arkansas, California, and New York have either implemented or proposed bans on student cell phone use during school hours. The policies vary widely, ranging from total bans to restrictions during instructional periods or specific rules for social media access on school networks. So, here's some of the reasons why cell phone bans can work: improved focus and academic performance,
Mhm.
reduction in bullying and cyberbullying, enhanced social interaction, mental health benefits, and equity among students. Challenges or reasons why cell phone bans might not work: enforcement issues, loss of learning tools, parental concerns, student resistance, and potential for negative impacts on cell phone direction. Now, I'm going to get more into the pros and cons, breaking them down later
Mhm.
in this segment, but I just want to kind of get your idea about some of the stuff that they're talking about with cell phones. Like, we didn't have cell phones in school. I had a
Right.
pager.
I got my cell phone, I think my senior year. It was like that Nokia brick.
Hey, man,
And
hey, look, I would love to go back to that Nokia brick. You put that
and
little clip on your hip. Remember, you
yeah,
could spin the little clip.
yeah. It was that little Nokia brick, and I got it my senior year. That was my first cell phone. I agree. I don't believe in a total ban, but definitely a restriction. Listen, if you work in corporate, you think you can have your phone out on your desk? No. So
Really?
no, you cannot have that phone out.
Really?
A lot of businesses, a lot of corporations restrict cell phone use. You got to get it. If you need to make a call, you can have your phone. Obviously, you're an adult. You can
Mhm.
have your phone. But if you need to make a call, you got to get up from your desk, go out into the hall. Like, you can't be on your cell phone at your desk at work. No.
Well, I would
So,
kinda want that anyway, because
yeah.
something about these people talking on speakerphone out in public, I wanna go up and smack each and every one of them. And also, if we in our office, yeah, take your personal phone call outside. I don't want it. Well, I
Not only
actually do wanna know about any type of mess or drama you got going on.
yes, yes, I know you do. But it's also like adults surf social media.
Mhm,
We
yeah.
do that too. They like I'm not an adult. Mostly be on mostly be on like Facebook, but that we
Them
on it.
boomers.
The
Them boomers
boomers,
do.
they on the Facebook, but they're on it. And so if we can't as adults, as grown people at a job, not have our cell phones out on our desk, watch the kids. No, it is 100% a distraction for kids to have this phone on them in class. I don't believe in a total ban. I think kids do need their phone. They got to coordinate pickups and drop offs if they have extracurricular activities. If something happens in school, they need to be able to reach their parent. They can do that. So I don't believe in a total ban. I think that cell phones are incredibly useful. But during class time, you better put that phone away. Come on now, not in my class. Put your
Alright.
phone up.
So some of the benefits of the school ban, I'm gonna go through them a little bit. The cell phone restrictions. All right. Improved focus and academic performance. So studies show that banning cell phones can lead to a better focus in class and higher test scores. For example, research from the London School of Economics found that 6.41%, no, excuse me, found 41% improvement in test scores in schools with phone bans, particularly benefiting low achieving students. Without distractions from social media or texting, students are more likely to engage with lessons and retain information. That pretty much seems cut and dry and self-explanatory. Yes,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
cell phone is an absolute distraction.
Yes.
I'm sometimes sitting up here working at my desk and I'll just grab my for no reason. Just
No
I'm
reason.
working, no reason. Just grab my cell phone, just start going through Instagram. I'm like, what? Why am I doing this? Right, I'm right in the middle of something.
Mhm.
I'm right in the middle of something. Now I'm on Instagram and completely forgot what I was doing. Now I got to
Yep.
try and refocus. And I'm a grown adult who
Yeah.
can refocus.
Yeah.
Children gonna have a hard time dealing with that.
Yes.
Another one, reduction in bullying and cyberbullying. By eliminating phone access, schools can reduce cyberbullying incidents that often occur during school hours. This creates a safer environment for students and mitigates the mental health impacts of online harassment. I tell
Yeah.
you what, I do see a lot of is these school fights.
Yes.
And I'm
And they're
tired of this.
being coordinated
Yes,
via text and social media.
yes. And then you put it all up on it. Look, let me tell you something. When Twan whooped my ass in seventh grade,
Mhm.
and I told
Mhm.
that story,
Yes.
I'm glad nobody had a recording of that. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I honestly could not imagine being a teenager with the access that they have to technology now. Like a lot of the stuff, everything we did as teenagers, it's just in your memory. There's no
Mhm.
documentation
Unless you had pictures, unless somebody had a camera with them.
unless somebody had a camera. But then you got to find those pictures. Did you
Mm.
ever get them developed? Because back then you had to get them developed.
Yeah.
Like, like where are who knows? We didn't have the paper trail of text messages and social media. No, you passed a note. When you got the note, you read it, crumpled it up, threw
And
it out.
you hope the teacher didn't see you passing notes.
Yeah,
Because
but
then he or she might read it in front of the whole class.
and it could be the most embarrassing thing you've ever written.
Well, I'm gonna tell you a story, and I've never brought this up. And actually, I just remembered this story just now, bringing it
Okay.
up. teacher reading notes in the class.
Oh, no.
So I'm a senior
Mhm.
and I pass a note to a little tenderoni in the class.
Yeah.
Me being who I am, I wrote a rhyme. I don't remember what the rhyme was, but it was like something with her booty. Like your
Yeah.
booty so nice, I want to smack it twice. It's something stupid,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But me being me, something very much me.
Yeah.
And I was handing it to her and she read it and she started laughing. And the teacher was like, what, we were learning something that was serious. It
That was
wasn't
not funny.
that
Yeah.
was not funny.
Right.
And then the teacher grabbed the note and said, oh, okay, Bruce wants to pass notes. So I'll just read in front of the whole class. And I was like, no, please don't do that. And she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna throw her out there under the bus, but she was my English teacher saying, yeah, you know exactly who you are. You're also the one that forced me to do Othello, and I ain't really mad about that. I was happy that you made me do that, even though I was pissed at the time. Anyway, she read the note in class. Everybody laughed. I was kind of embarrassed, but you know me, I don't be really getting too embarrassed. But
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just like, this could have been bad. Like it could have been bad. I
It
could have wrote
could have
something
been. Yeah.
way worse than that.
Yeah.
And probably did, just didn't get notes caught. But yes.
But
So
it just reminds me of that episode of Wayans Brothers with Mr. Gibbs. Mr. Gibbs read Sean's letter out loud, and then he died, and they went to the funeral. They were gonna give him a stink bomb, but they didn't know he had died, and so they thought they brought a present to the funeral, and it was a stink bomb. And I
I'm
don't
actually
know.
gonna
It's a
watch
good
it.
episode.
Hey, I'm gonna watch that episode tonight. I want to
Yeah.
find the episode where Sean was on the street and he was trying to call out to this woman, and the older woman yelled out, "Hey!" And he was like, "Ew." I don't remember. I don't remember. Anyway, okay. So
Yeah.
other benefits to taking away cell phones,
Mhm.
like enhanced social interaction, mental health benefits, equity among students. I'm just going to read through all of these real fast.
Yeah.
So enhanced social interaction. Removing phones encourages face-to-face communication among students, fostering strong relationships and interpersonal skills. This is especially critical for young students during their formative years. The mental health benefits. Excessive phone use is linked to anxiety, addiction, not addiction,
Addiction.
addiction. I don't know why I
Yeah.
couldn't say that word just now.
Yeah.
Addiction and societal pressures stemming from unrealistic portrayals on social media. A ban can alleviate these issues by providing students a reprieve from digital stress during school hours, and then equity among students. Not all students can afford high-end smartphones, which can create social economic disparities. A ban ensures a level playing field by reducing the visibility of such differences. That's another reason
Yeah.
why they're also doing uniforms for schools.
Yeah.
And I actually agree with that. I know kids hate uniformity and it does kind of take away their creativity, but at
Mhm.
the same time, it creates equity. And I already explained to you, ladies and gentlemen, on the last episode, the difference between equality and equity.
Mhm.
Go listen and watch that. I make very valid points because I'm a smart and intelligent individual. But yeah, these are when you point these things out of why there should be a restriction or ban of cell phones, it makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it as an adult, I have an addiction. I finally said that word right. I have an addiction to my cell phone, and it does
Yeah.
create stress and anxiety. That's the reason why I told you last week I've developed this whole new thing because I read online, don't touch your cell phone for the first 15 minutes of the day. So many people grab their cell phone and immediately you're inundated with messages, texts,
Yeah.
news, and it's just like you've already started your day on fire.
Yeah.
So of course these kids, that's the reason why so many of these kids have anxiety. It's because of these cell phones.
Yeah.
I love the convenience of it, but at the same time, damn.
Yeah. Things like cyberbullying and these, unrealistic, physical, like aesthetic expectations that you see on social media and all kinds of stuff, they're bombarded
Mhm.
all day. And the thing of it is, I used to love coming home from school, not having to see everybody I just spent the last 8 hours with
Right.
anymore for the day. And with the kids these days and their phones, it's like they're constantly in contact with each other, and it's like y'all don't get a break. Like, take a break.
Yeah. And also these kids, I was in a debate with somebody
Mm.
a couple of months ago, and they was just like, this young generation doesn't know how to communicate. And I said, that's not true. They just communicate differently.
They communicate differently.
And they were like, well, they don't do well with face-to-face stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay, because they've lived their life on technology, whether it be cell phones, iPads, computer, right? Like that's how they communicate. They
Yeah.
know how to communicate,
Yeah.
but just in person, they like the the idea of the salesperson is probably dying because that's a person to person interaction,
Mhm.
face-to-face type thing, like closing sales, like that may die. But they'll still be able to close a sale if they could text you, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
online. Just the
But
communication is different.
But I don't think that that's unique. I think that's unique to young people in general. I'm like, everybody remembers that first time that you had to order the pizza by yourself, or the
I
first
still
time
I
you
still
had to
ask
make
you
that dentist appointment. You know
I
what I'm
still ask
saying?
you to call. I'm like, "Jay, can you, I'm grown. I'm grown. Hey,
Yeah.
Jay, can you call to make this appointment?" I don't wanna call nobody to make an appointment."
No, I don't. I think that's just. I don't think that's unique to this generation. Everybody has that thing where you first start making your own appointments. And you gotta you gotta call and make the you like when online ordering for food or like online appointment setting and stuff. I love it because I don't want to call.
No, I don't wanna call.
I don't want if I don't have to. I don't want to call.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
I
don't think that that's unique to just this generation.
I also like the equity among students. I
Yeah.
talked about the, uniforms, but I know for a fact as a grown adult, if I get a green bubble text from one of my adult friends, I'm dragging them. I'm like, "Why are you messing up the group chat?
Hmm.
Why is this" like, iPhones is it. And so
Yeah.
my bestie and another good friend of mine have Androids, and I'm just like, "Look, I hate texting you. Let's just DM through Instagram." I don't actually say that to her because it's not true, but it's just like that green bubble.
Yeah.
That green bubble. Why is your
I'm
text message not coming through? Well, it's because you don't have iMessage. If you had iMessage, it wouldn't matter where you are, it would go through. But because you absolutely need cellular because you got an Android, it's not going through.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the students don't know who are the students that their parents have money and who are the
Mhm,
students whose parents don't have as much money. Like the students know. So
mhm.
as little visibility
Yeah.
those disparities have, I think that's better. And also the whole thing about uniforms and creativity, again, this is also something adults do. Adults have uniforms also. It depends
Mm,
on the job. It depends on the job, but uniforms are absolutely a thing for adults also. If you're a mechanic, you got a uniform.
that is
If
true.
you are a
A
doctor,
nurse or a
a
doctor, anybody
nurse,
working in the hospital.
you
Yeah.
have a uniform. If you're an attorney, that suit, that's your uniform. Like we have uniforms. Like, but there's a way to express your creativity even with a uniform. Like you can still do it. Plenty
Fresh
of
Prince
people.
did it on Fresh
Yeah.
Prince of Bel-Air.
He just turned the jacket inside out. He was
Mm,
still wearing it. There was no dress code violation. So they had to let him wear the jacket inside out. You find ways to make it yours.
mhm.
But no, I think uniforms level the playing field. I think they're a good idea. I wish I had them because it also is easier to get ready in the morning.
Yeah, and the stress. Woo! Let me tell you about something back in high school. And I'm glad I went to a college like your college, the first one you went to, Howard.
Yeah.
It was a fashion show every day. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, I didn't, the black community kind of had a fashion show, but not really. And
Yeah.
it was the first time that I could go to class and just wear wherever I wanted to wear. Whereas in high school, you had to come dressed to impress every day.
Every
And so
day.
you like, man, the night before you're like, man, I don't even know what I need to wear from. I only got a finite amount of pants
Right.
and shirts.
And I feel like I wore it. Did I wear this last week? I can't even remember. What did I have on Monday last week? Like, it's so stressful. No,
It
let me
is.
just put that sweater and that little skirt on and my tights and my little loafers and go to school.
And
Like
go to school. Yeah. One
that's
less thing to worry about. So
one
you can
less
focus
thing.
on your studies. You're not,
One
but
less
so you
thing.
can. So
But
some of the negative aspects of of taking the phone away. And
Yeah.
I talked about enforcement issues, loss of learning tools, parental concerns, student resistance. I just want to talk about enforcement issues and student resistance. Like
Mhm.
schools may struggle to enforce bans consistently, especially if policies allow exceptions for emergencies or educational purposes. Students might still find a way to use their phone discreetly. Yes.
Yeah.
One thing kids gonna do
Y
is do what they want to do.
Yes, that's
That's it.
100% of what if I raise my head to go to the bathroom, just know my phone is in my pocket and I'm going to check something on my phone I just don't want you to see. Like,
Right.
that's and you can't refuse me going to the bathroom. So, that's like, yeah, kids is gonna find a way to get around it. Yes.
Eh,
And that's why I don't think a ban is A, going to work, and B, gonna even be beneficial because there are emergencies.
mhm.
I don't know why they would need their phone for educational purposes. There's a library in the school, and I'm assuming computers also.
Well,
So,
there might not be any books left in that library.
well, that's neither here nor there. But
Yeah.
I don't know why they would need their phone for educational
Look,
purposes.
I
But
don't know. Maybe the T1 calculator is on the phone now. Maybe you don't need to actually buy it.
actually, the calculator on your phone does have scientific mode, and
Okay, so
it's
there you
yeah.
go. All
So,
right.
all
So remember,
right.
because we had to buy that T1, T2, T3.
TI-87, TI-86, yeah, and those things were
Boy,
like $150 at the time for a calculator.
mine got stolen one time. I didn't even tell my parents. I just had to do the math and figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know. I didn't know who stole it. I just know, and it got stolen because I left it somewhere.
Oh, well, that was
So it
your
was
fault.
my fault. If
Yeah.
I had done a deep detective dive, I probably could have found out who it. I kind of knew who the culprit was, but I don't think that I could have really beat them in a fight.
Ah,
So I didn't really press him on it. I just
yeah.
said, I'm gonna have to figure. It was almost the end of the school year anyway. I was like, I'm gonna have to figure out this math anyway.
Yeah.
I wasn't no punk, but also
You
I
ain't
didn't want no
gonna
ass.
you
I
ain't
ain't
gonna
going.
jump into a fight. You
Yeah,
don't have to.
this person had knocked out seniors and we were freshmen. And so I was knocked him out. This is the
Yeah.
first time I ever seen people get knocked out. Now
Yeah.
kids see people get knocked out all the time because of these school videos, which is another reason why you shouldn't have your cell phone in the school.
Right.
Kids getting knocked out. I didn't see that until
Yeah.
he knocked him out. And I was like, he knocked out a football player.
Yeah.
I'm 150 pounds.
Not
I'm gonna
doing
go
it.
ahead. If he took it, you know what? He
You just
really,
got
really
it.
needed it. He didn't come from a well-to-do family,
Yep.
and I didn't either. But mom and dad make a way if I need to get another one, and the
Mm,
school year is almost over with. But yes, I
yeah.
think the T1 there might be some programs and stuff. I'm going to assume apps that help students.
But
Uh,
yeah, definitely for emergency situations, and definitely, there are kids that do extracurriculars, like I said, and need to coordinate pickups and drop offs and things like that. So it's like, yeah, I can definitely understand kids needing their phones in school, and they're gonna find a way to use them.
Kids gonna find a way. And
Yeah.
there's already some states that are implemented, these school bans. Florida has implemented a statewide ban all the way back in 2023, prohibiting cell phone use during instructional periods and blocking social media access on the school Wi-Fi networks. I don't know if that really works anymore because you don't really need your Wi-Fi. You could just,
Right.
everybody has unlimited data now. California adopted a law in 2024 requiring schools to restrict cell phone use during class time while incorporating digital literacy education starting in the 6th grade. Now, see, California, people always want to talk about the liberals in California. That's actually the way you're supposed to do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to restrict cell phone use, but we also going to teach you about digital literacy.
Yeah.
Because Florida didn't do nothing about that.
No.
Utah has instituted a policy as well. They got to put their cell phone in pouches during school hours. Los Angeles voted to enforce a comprehensive ban starting in the spring of 2024. And of course, Arkansas passed a Phone-Free School Act mandating districts to develop restrictive cell phone policies by 2026 with exceptions for medical emergencies or educational purposes. And even with states that I typically disagree with on their policy,
Mhm.
I at first when I first started reading about this, I was like, I don't know about taking the cell phone away from the kids. Then I thought about it and I was like, yeah, no, this could kind of benefit because I think the cell phone can stunt your growth.
Yeah.
So
in a lot of ways, in some of the ways that you mentioned, such as the face-to-face communication,
yeah.
developing stronger relationships and interpersonal skills through that socialization. A lot of why school is important is the socialization aspect of it. And if you always got your face in your phone, you're socializing in a way like that. A kid will argue you down. I am socializing. I'm on the phone. Yeah, but you don't know how to talk to people. And I'll give you a prime example. I was in court. Not for me. Not for me. I was taking somebody, but it was traffic court. And there were so many young, especially young Black men that would get up there. It was their turn and they were talking to the judge and they were speaking so low, you couldn't hear them. They don't know how to speak up, enunciate, project, like speak in a professional setting or a professional way. They just didn't have the skill. And I was like, it's because your face is always in your phone. And then also schools don't really give, in my opinion, enough opportunities for kids to present, like give a report or something, like give more opportunities for
An
kids to
oral
present.
report. Yeah.
Yeah. They give more opportunities for kids to work on their communication skills. But it was so many like young men that were really struggling to communicate in a professional setting. And it was very disheartening to see.
Mhm. Well, you know what else is disheartening?
A lot of stuff, but what specifically?
When people use your stuff at work and when your mother-in-law don't listen. And we're going to get into that next. All right, Jay, I went to Reddit. It's been a little while. I haven't brought these up for a while. It's been a little while. And I went into my favorite section, Am I Overreacting? And I found two. And also there's a third that we're going to do for YouTube exclusives.
Yes.
YouTube exclusives starting to pick up. Y'all do realize if you like the show, we have videos on YouTube that are not on the show.
Yes,
That
they
is
are exclusive. That's what it means
exclusive.
when we say YouTube exclusive.
Yeah, it's exclusive.
They're exclusive to YouTube.
YouTube. Like you ain't. It's not like we've cut stuff from the show.
No,
and made it a YouTube exclusive.
it's
Which there are clips.
separate content.
Yeah, there are clips on the show. That are also clips, but we record and it comes out every Monday and Saturday. Those are YouTube exclusives. They're typically around 10 minutes. Sometimes they go up 20 minutes.
Don't know how else to say it.
Yeah,
YouTube exclusives.
It's only on YouTube. But anyway, so
to be clear, YouTube exclusives.
Because people are like, oh, I didn't know about that. I say that. I say it at the top of the intro. I say it all throughout the show. It's YouTube exclusive. Like it's only on YouTube. Nowhere else. Anyway, so this first Am I Overreacting is titled Using My Mug at Work.
Nope.
Okay.
I already can tell you the answer is you are not. Because, excuse me, read it. Because
okay. Am I overreacting for making my coworker cry because I passively aggressively labeled my mug not yours, all in caps, after the fourth time he used it? So this is the post. There's this dude at work who keeps using my favorite mug. Not just any mug, the mug I got after running my first marathon. I asked him nicely multiple times to stop. He'd always laugh it off like, chill, it's just a cup. So after the fourth time, I got a Sharpie and wrote not yours on the side. Big, bold, unmistakable. The next day he saw it, didn't say a word, but apparently told someone he felt attacked and left early. Now the office vibe is weird and people are kind of side-eyeing me.
And, oh well.
Am I overreacting or was that fair game?
Absolutely not overreacting.
No, it isn't.
First of all, I've asked him nicely multiple times to stop. He always laughed it off like, chill, it's just a cup. Here's the thing. The first time, because I'm not telling you multiple times to stop. The first time I say, hey, that's my mug that you're using. Can you not use my mug? Can you use one of the other mugs? Chill, it's just a cup. My response then is, it's not just a cup, it's my cup, and I'm asking you not to use it. Don't use it anymore. Like, period. And if you use it again, then I'm writing the not yours. It wasn't going to be no multiple times.
Yeah, the person, I don't know if this was a man or a woman because it didn't specify, but the person that was using it was definitely a man.
Well, he said, there's this dude at work.
No, I'm talking about the person's whose mug it was. It doesn't really specify if it was a man or a female.
Yeah.
But it don't matter. I'm gonna tell you one time. This person was nice enough to say 4 times, and then to say he felt attacked. Yeah,
please.
Actually,
yeah, you do.
After the second time, I'm actually going to attack you.
I'm actually
because I done told you one time. I'm not going to repeat myself. I don't repeat myself to kids. I damn sure I'm not going to repeat myself to adults. I told you what it was.
Yeah,
I told you what it was. Now we're gonna have a discrepancy.
I actually will repeat myself for kids, but otherwise,
you know, I'm just talking some ish.
Just talking straight ish.
Yeah, I'm just talking
you know
straight
good
ish.
and well you will repeat yourself for some kids, but no, for a grown adult, you heard what I said.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter how I said it. You heard what I said the first time, and it's not chill. It's just a cup, and then it's like the 4th time he's used it.
Fourth time. And then everybody look, first of all, you might want to find a new job, because if everybody in the office is starting to side-eye you and taking his side of it, then that's an issue in and of itself. That means that office has no boundaries. And I'll be damned if I'm going to have to come in to work every day with people that have no boundaries. Because you know what? This is the reason why I don't have no real job. I mean, I got a real job, ladies and gentlemen.
You don't have a corporate job.
Yeah, I don't have a corporate job, because I'd be in HR all the time, because I don't hold my tongue, and I'm gonna tell you how I feel. If you stink, I'm gonna let you know that you stink, and I understand that that's not something that you could do in the corporate world, like in the corporate setting.
There's a way of doing it, but
I'm not gonna do it the right way. I know that. Like, I'm gonna say, hey man, you stink. I told you, don't use my mug. I don't want your germs on my mug.
Yeah.
Don't touch my mug again, or I'm gonna slam this mug upside your head. I'm going to HR. I'm probably gonna get terminated because of a threat.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. The first time I see you using my mug and I ask you to stop, and you say, chill, it's just a cup. And I say, it's not just a cup, it's my cup. You think it's a cup. I'm telling you it's my cup. And if I see you using it again, then we are going to take it to HR.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you're not respecting my personal property in the workplace. So you can do what you want to do. But as far as like everybody side-eyeing me and the office vibe is weird, that's when I get up and make an announcement. I said what I said about my mug, and if I catch anybody else using my mug, you're going to get the same energy in a corporate way.
See, and this is another reason why I don't have a corporate job, because as soon as they said, you know, it's just a mug, it's not a big deal, I might have fired off on them.
Yeah.
I might like, don't tell me how I should feel about, I really hate when people tell me
my own property.
Yeah, don't tell me how I should feel. That really agitates me now as I get older, and I'm going to respond back with aggression. But that's just, you know, hey, look, don't be using other people's stuff.
Yeah. And then, you know, he shouldn't have to, I'm sure they have like an employee break room or someplace where he washes out his mug and puts it in the cabinet. That's how we used to have in ours, you know. He shouldn't have to take his mug home every day. Everybody else can seem to keep their mugs there and it not be a problem. If you really wanted to be nice, you could buy your coworker another mug. I might do it in a passive aggressive way and like have a mug printed. You could just have a mug made at like Walgreens or something, and it'll say, "This is your mug, so and so. Don't touch nobody else's mug on it." And then that's what it'll say on it. And I'll be like, "This is the mug you can use. Don't touch nobody else's mug. If it's not this mug or a mug you brought, don't touch nobody." Because first of all, why you often brought your own mug?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
You know that you drink your coffee or your tea or whatever at work. Why haven't you brought your own mug? Everybody else don't seem to have a problem with the mug situation, but you
And is it just me? And this might just be me because I don't really like drinking after other people. But I wouldn't want to, if it's community mugs, I wouldn't want to use somebody else's mug that I know is their mug. And
no,
habitually, he's
'cause
habitually,
I
he's
don't
an
know if you're
habitual liar.
I don't know if you're washing my mug out properly.
No,
Are
I'm
you
talking
just
about the person that's using the mug.
Yeah, I don't know
That
where you been.
yeah,
I don't know
nah,
what
that's
kind of
gross.
cooties you got.
They got some cooties. People got cooties out here.
And
Because
you
what's
using my mug?
right? All right. So here's the last one, uh, and I titled it "Mother-in-Law Just Ain't Listening." The
Okay.
person that posted this titled, "Am I overreacting? Mother-in-law tried to feed my baby strawberries after I said no 3 times, even screamed at her to stop." Okay, so here's the post. My husband, our son, and I visited my in-laws to celebrate my grandma-in-law's birthday. Everything was going well until my mother-in-law picked up a strawberry from the table and tried to feed it to my son while holding him. For context, my son just started solids and I'm introducing new foods gradually. He hasn't tried strawberries yet, and I haven't given anyone permission to feed him. I told her no 3 times, but she wouldn't listen. I ended up yelling for her to stop. And even then, she kept ignoring me. I had to physically take my son from her. Before this, I was fine with the idea of them babysitting, but after what happened, I no longer feel comfortable leaving him with them unsupervised. Am I overreaction? Am I overreacting? And here
Nope.
was a question. Here was a question in the comments. The question was, what has been your husband's response to his mother? His mother disrespecting you. He said he didn't notice what was happening and made excuses for her, saying she probably didn't hear me or something. He has a habit of downplaying her behavior.
Okay, that's a problem.
That's the problem.
First of all, no, never. Because you're not overreacting. That's your baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's your baby. And a lot of times, in-laws or your own parents, a lot of times the grandparents will overstep because they feel like, well, we raised y'all. We did a good job. We know what we're doing. I understand that, but introducing new foods to a baby is serious business because you have to monitor them for allergies.
Mm-hmm.
So there are certain foods that you want to introduce in like a control setting, like peanut butter, for example, or any kind of nut, something like that, because a lot of kids have nut allergies.
Mm-hmm.
And that baby could be allergic to strawberries. We don't know. And this is not a control setting for them to try it for the first time. And also, I said no
3 times.
3 times. And then I told you to stop. You kept ignoring me. Now give me my baby, and I'm not leaving him here with you no more.
Mm-hmm.
Until you can prove to me that you can follow my direction as their parent. I am this child's parent, not you. No, you're not overreacting. Hell no. And the way I'd have scooped my child up and rolled out, and if my husband want to sit there and rationalize and downplay her behavior, you can stay here too.
Mm.
We'll go.
Mm.
You can stay where you clearly want to be.
Mm.
Because you're supposed to cleave. The Bible says you're supposed to cleave, okay, from your family. And this new family that you're creating is supposed to be your priority. This new family that you've created. So if this can't be your priority, and you can't step to your mom and be like, hey, this is our child. We're choosing when and when we aren't introducing new foods. You can either respect that or we can go. And that's point blank period. And that's why you're really seeing a real rise these days of people going no contact with their parents.
Mm.
Because you got a lot of parents out here that just do not respect you as an adult. They don't know how to do that. And they overstep. But no, I think she's more than within her right to set up boundaries for her own child.
That's what I was going to harp on. And both of these, am I overreacting? It's about boundaries.
Yes.
Everything in life is, to me, about boundaries, about what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept. And you put a hard line on what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept. And if people can't respect it, They can move to the side. They can keep it pushing. You ain't got to be in my life.
You don't got to be here.
Well, I mean, not here in my life. They do have. I want.
Well,
I
yes,
be here.
that's what. Yes, you ain't got to be here with me.
Right.
You
okay.
can
There
be
we go.
you can be anywhere.
Yes.
I really don't care, as long as it ain't here.
Right.
With me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jay. What do you want to tell these people out here?
Man, listen. When you set boundaries, the people who buck at them are the people you need to get out your life. Because they never respected you in the first place.
Periods. And on that note, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, I'll holla. Yeah, I'm doing a couple of them because running out of material.
Thanks. And I don't want to, you don't want to talk about politics all the damn time.
I don't want to talk about politics all the time. Let me change this light before we start recording. I don't want to talk about politics all the damn time. And also, you can't, they won't really monetize on YouTube politics. So there's a part of me that's just like, I'm going to kind of lay off until something crazy happens.
Yeah.
I don't really need to talk about politics because I'm not really trying to deal with it. Oh, for real. I'm just trying to adjust my light and then we get started.
Yeah, me too. Now you're green. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. No. All right. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Do not disturb. What are we talking about? Shit. That's kind of important. Dilly-dallying. Oh, cell phone bans in school. I was like, what was segment 2? Cell phone bans in school. And then am I overreacting? All right. So we want to talk about cell phones.
I like that Riverside has like a little picture-in-picture, so I can look at I can still see you, but I could also just have the rundown up. That's nice.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how you did that. How did you do that?
I don't know. I just clicked on the rundown and it made it a little picture-in-picture.
Oh, you got it on a separate screen still.
No, so
a separate tab.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I got the rundown in a separate tab.
All right. What are we talking about again? Let's get started because these Sundays I didn't even eat last Sunday until 3:00. I'm like, no, we're gonna have to change something with this. This is gonna have to.
Well, we're filming a lot in just 2 hours, so this is a lot.
This is true.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Are you cool with them taking them baby?
Yeah, they've got whiskey, deep ocean.
Oh, I'm gonna check it out then.
Noir.
How much they cost? Are they body creams or body butters? Do they come in a jar or do they come in a squeeze tube?
So these are body creams, and then they have like a beard and scruff cream with shea butter in a jar.
Well, I don't need no.
But their body creams are very thick. They're not lotion. They're cream.
Yeah,
so
I like creams.
Thick. Yeah.
But I also like when I got these body butters. The body butters is almost like, you know how coconut oil can be both a solid and a liquid?
Yes.
And it can go back and forth depending on the room temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what these kind of like body butters are. But they're most of the time they're just solid. So you got to scoop them bad boys out. And when you put it on, you be real glossy and greasy. But I'm like, I know it's working.
Yes. Yeah.
I need that gloss grease.
Not gloss grease.
Yeah. All right, you ready? Whew. That was a hell of a show. Thank you for rocking with us here on Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Now, before you go, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast wherever you're listening or watching it to it. Pass it along to your friends. If you enjoy it, that means the people that you rock with will enjoy it also. So share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the noise. And for all those people that say, well, I don't have a YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually watch our video podcast and YouTube exclusive content. But the real party is on our Patreon page, After Hours Uncensored and Talking Straight-ish. After Hours Uncensored is another show with my sister. And once again, the key word there is uncensored. Those are exclusively on our Patreon page. Jump onto our website at unsolicitedperspective.com for all things us. That's where you can get all of our audio, video, our blogs, and even buy our merch. And if you really feel generous and want to help us out, you can donate on our donations page. Donations go strictly to improving our software and hardware so we can keep giving you guys good content that you can clearly listen to and that you can clearly see. So any donation would be appreciative. Most importantly, I want to say thank you for listening and watching and supporting us. And I'll catch you next time. Audi 5000. Peace.